Last week I showed you guys how to remove a pulley from your supercharger. So this week we're showing you how to put on a Griptec supercharger pulley. Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Tonight's video is going to be pretty simple, showing you guys how to install a Griptec pulley at home. This is going to be the shrink fit version, not the press fit. Most people don't have a press at their home, so get the shrink fit version if you're just going to be using heat. So first step of the process is to get your oven preheating to 350 degrees. And I'm fortunate enough to have an oven here in the garage. So it is preheating right now to 350 degrees. And what we need to do is disassemble the pulley itself. I've got it sitting here with the supercharger waiting for it to go on. These are 10T30. So we are going to remove all those because we need to separate the hub, which is that silver piece in there, so we can get that in the oven and get it heating up. Man, my garage is a mess. You can probably see all that junk in the background, but yeah, so 10T30s. We're just gonna zip all these out. Have this nice little tray for them. Once I get all these out, I will show you the next step. All right, we got the hub disassembled from the actual pulley. So we're going to come over here to our oven, open this thing up, and ooh, it is hot. But we're going to set this thing right here and let it heat up. We want that thing nice and warm. So while that heats up, let's talk about what else you're going to need. First, you want to get some compressed air here in a can, the kind that you can hold upside down that you can spray, because when you hold upside down spray, basically turns into ice, because when we're about to take that out and put it on here, we want to ice up the shaft, giggity, the prop here of the supercharger. We're going to hit this with compressed air upside down, get it super, super ice cold, and that is just going to help with getting the actual hub onto the supercharger. Make sure you put this hub on the correct way. Like I said, I did this video beforehand, put a lot of work into it. It was a really, really nice video, but I put it on backwards. So that one has been removed from the internet. But in any case, you want that. You want to have some kind of gloves, like oven mitts, something that you can grab a hold of that thing. Some people use pliers, channel locks or something. But if you've got some really good thick gloves or some oven mitts, that should be just fine. That's going to help you be able to put that on there, because you're going to put it on there and hold it on for a moment. So do not burn yourself, please. Okay, so why are we throwing this thing in the oven? Some of you guys might truly be wondering that. We all know that metal expands when it gets hot, and we need this thing to get nice and hot so that it goes onto the supercharger a lot easier. That's also why we're using the compressed air upside down. We get it nice and icy. We bring that super hot thing out that's expanded just a bit. It should go right on smooth as butter. This whole process, by the way, guys, if you have a regular upgraded supercharger pulley, like a smaller one from APR or some other company, is the exact same thing. You just get to skip a few steps that we have to do for the Griptec. Do not exceed 350 degrees. You can ruin the finish on a lot of the pulleys if you do. So 350 degrees is like the sweet spot. We want to leave it in there for an hour. So while it's in there, we're going to go ahead and do some other things. One thing I suggest you doing, go ahead and prep all of the Griptec bolts there with a little bit of blue Loctite. You will need that. You don't want this thing loosening up under operation. So go ahead and get some blue Loctite on those. Doesn't take too much. And now we just got to play the waiting game. And I'll start filming once it's time to ice down the supercharger and throw this thing on.
1 hour later.
Okay, the pulley has been in the oven for over an hour. We're going to freeze this thing up real good and then put the pulley on. Now, when we put it on there, we want to make sure that once it gets on there, we hold it for about 5 to 10 seconds to make sure that it's good and set there. So let's get this cold. Make sure this doesn't get on you. All right, we're gonna press this on. Hold it on there. It's toasty. You might have to give a little tap like that to coax it on there. But if you just let it sit on the end there, it'll burn off that ice and it'll get locked onto the very end of the snout. And then you have to hook the removal tool and all that jazz and do this all over again. Okay, so that's on there completely now. It's nice and flush with the snout on the front there. We're gonna let it obviously cool down a little bit, and then we'll attach the actual pulley to the snout. This is very important, guys. Whenever you get the hub on, you want to align it to where the text is facing the front of the car so you can read it when you're standing in front of the car. If you put it on backwards, you're gonna have to redo this thing because it will not align correctly. Once you let your hub cool down, it is time to install the actual pulley. So basically, you're just going to line your bolt holes up here. And you're just going to get these started. We're going to go ahead and put all 10 in. And just like a drum, we're going to go across from each other as we work our way around to make sure that this gets tightened down evenly. And then we'll talk about torque settings. All right, so we got these just barely tight with the impact. I mean, very, very little torque at all. I'm going to just do this by hand. I'm going to go around, and once again, I'm going to go back and forth to make sure that this gets torqued down evenly. The Griptec instruction manual, they recommend that these only get torqued down to 5 foot-pounds, so that is not a lot of torque, so that should just be hand tight. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go around with these hand tight. We don't want to snap anything here, so we're not going to overdo it, but we're going to go through all these twice, and then this should be good to go. So let's talk about the reasons why you would want to use an upgraded Griptec supercharger pulley over your standard upgraded single piece metal pulley whenever it comes time that, to upgrade your supercharger pulley. One, the obvious is better grip on your supercharger belt. If you're unaware for whatever reason, belt slip is an issue on these cars. The more you're dialing up the boost, the faster this thing is spinning. It's going to want to slip inside the belt. They don't make the Gates RPM belts, which are like the standard go-to belts for these that really helped with maintaining grip. But even with those, they would sometimes slip. But now we don't even have those. They stopped making them at the time of this video. So getting a Griptec pulley that has the coating on there is going to maximize your grip on your belt and help eliminate belt slip so that your performance can stay as peak as it can. Your second reason you would want to do this is the ability to really choose your size pulley and even change them in the future if you want to. So instead of having to buy a whole new pulley and go through the whole process of heating up a pulley to get it on there and using a tool to get it off, now if you decide you want to adjust the size of your supercharger pulley, you just remove the screws on the front of the hub here and you literally just slide it off and replace it. On my C7, I could even do that without having to remove anything off the car or put it into the service position. I can do it right here with a stubby wrench and I can get those out really easily. On a B8, that might not be the case. Talking about removing stuff, it's going to be way easier for those of you curious to remove your supercharger to do this job than it is to put the car in a service position. You can typically get your supercharger off if you're fast in like 12 to 15 minutes versus most people usually take about a half hour to do it. It's way easier to do that than tearing apart the front end, putting the car in service position and pulling it out to get access to your pulley. Now, if you choose to do that, make sure you're also going to replace your accessory belt. That needs to be done as maintenance. That's a great time to do it. Really good time to do your crank pulley and to check your front main seal. So make sure while you have it in service position, you really look at everything up there. But yeah, I prefer to take this off. You just have to deal with some coolant loss. Not a big issue. It also, taking the supercharger off, allows you to get your supercharger and everything closer to your heat source you're using to heat up your pulley. So if you're using your oven in your house, and you leave this on the car, you're going to have to run it out here really quick and hopefully it doesn't cool off in time. Versus if you get this off, you can bring it to your heat source. That's a big plus when it comes to doing this job. But yeah, super happy with this. I've had this on my car for quite a long time. This video is being made late. I had a video that I made, but I made an error in making it, so I've been forced to redo it. And if you're a member of the channel, you can see my blooper video. I have it up there. But if you guys enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate it. If you liked it, that helps me out. Consider subscribing to the channel. And if you have any questions or comments about this job, leave them in the comments below the video for me. And yeah, we'll see you on the next DIY video.